The Tilehurst End podcast.
Read the blog
On thetilehurstend.com.
Right, well, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by former Reading defender Elroy Kromheer, who joins us all the way from Amsterdam. Is that right, Elroy?
No, yeah, I'm sitting in Amsterdam. Yeah, that's right.
Very, very nice. How's the weather over there today? It is lovely and sunny as we sit and record this in Reading.
It's getting better here in the Netherlands, and it's promising for the coming week. But so far we're not really spoiled with good weather.
Yeah, it's just about heating up here, but as you know from your time over here, the weather can turn just like that. So
Yeah.
I'm sure rain is just around the corner. We've got you on the phone just to quickly talk to you about your time at Reading. Obviously, you played for the club for just a single season in the late 90s.
Yeah.
You joined in the summer of 1998. Tommy Byrne signed you. At the
Yeah.
time, it wasn't particularly usual for Reading to go and sign players from abroad. So how on earth did the move to Reading come about in the first place?
Reading was over in Holland for a pre-match week or a couple of days, and we played a friendly against. I played at that time. I played with Pek Zwolle, and we played a friendly against Reading, and that was a good game, I guess. And later on, he came back to see me play against Sparta, and after that he contacted my manager.
Ah, very nice. And you joined alongside Peter van der Kwak as well. How well did you know the goalkeeper?
I did not know Peter at that time. I knew there was a Dutch goalkeeper, but yeah, as soon as I arrived, we met, and we had although the results were not that good, we had a good time, and I think also Peter looks with a good feeling back about that spell at Reading.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, one of the highlights of your time there, you played in the very first league game at the Madejski Stadium when you won 3-0 over Luton. A great day in front of a near sellout house. What are your memories of that day?
It was not a good game. We won. We won. We started the season not as expected. I thought we drew the first game, or we lost the first game.
I think it was at Wrexham, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we played. We started not good. There was a lot of expectations, a lot of new players, and ambition. But I thought we first we played 3 away matches, and then our first home game, and that was also our first win. But as I said, the game was not that very good.
But the 3-0 win over Luton itself, it may not have been the best performance. I think Massar had a great game that day. Really excited the fans. Said it was the first win of the season in the new stadium. There was lots of fanfare. I think the pitch got delivered, dropped down from the roof of the stadium. There was lots of fanfare. I mean, what was the atmosphere like that day as a player?
Yeah, that was very nice, of course, at the pitch, and it was also in my first weeks, because I came halfway the pre-season. I didn't know what to expect, but the atmosphere was great. As also in other games, it surprised me, and there was a good feeling.
Brilliant. How difficult was the second division at the time compared to the Dutch league? And I know you spent a year with Motherwell as well in Scotland. How tough was that division? Was it what you expected?
No, it was tough. And at the same time, with my transfer to Motherwell, the first games were okay, but then it went it went down. Tommy Burns wanted to play more continental, and he had a training start at Ajax, and he had good thoughts about the game, and he wanted to bring more passing game into the Reading squad. But as I said, the results were poor, and then he switched to the typical English style, and that's a good style. And from there on, but it's not my kind of game.
I was going to say, you played a lot in the first half of the season, but didn't really play a lot in the second. In fact, I think your final home game and was unfortunately one of the more memorable games for the wrong reasons for Reading fans.
Yeah.
A 6-0 defeat to Bristol Rovers, where it was 0-0 at half time. What went wrong in that second half of that game?
What went good? No, that's very disappointing. It was very naive. As I remember, it's quite a while ago.
Jason Roberts and Jamie Curitan, who went on to both play for Reading, of course, scoring all the goals that day.
Now everything went wrong especially in the second half, and we keep try to play football, and we shouldn't. We should not react that naive. But that was a hard lesson, and it's all in the game.
What was the dressing room like afterwards? Was Tommy Burns someone that would shout and scream in the dressing room, or was he someone that was calm afterwards?
I can remember he locked us up sometimes, and then we stayed just 3 hours after the game.
3 hours,
and we have to tell each other what went wrong, and he could be very emotional sometimes.
Yeah, as it said, it just didn't work out for him.
No.
And obviously, sadly, died far too young. But you didn't stay in the club much longer after that. The club brought in. We spoke to one of your former colleagues, Chris Casper, a few months ago as well, and he was saying about the team went wrong. So it's often looked at as one of the biggest underachieving sides because of the amount of money spent. If you had to give a reason why the team didn't succeed that year, what would you say?
If you, from my example, Reading bought me during the pre-season, and before that there were already, I think, 12 or 14 signings, and in the squad there were 8 centre halves, and if you then still have to buy a player, you think you have to buy a player during the pre-season, then it seems like there is not a good vision. Tommy Burns had he wanted to play more continental, but that was not in the squad, that quality. There were other qualities in the squad. I think the amount of players. I think we had a squad of 40 players, so that brings a lot of not rest in the squad.
Yeah,
excuse me.
No, that's absolutely fine. As I said, it's not easy to stay settled in a squad like that. No. You left that summer. Was that more your decision, or was it Tommy that came up to you, or how did the move away from the club come about?
No, Tommy Burns wanted to strengthen the squad, and I think the club said, well, not anymore, or you have to release players. And so he came to me and he said, yeah, well, it's not working out for you, and it was. He said, we want to release you, so we want to create some space to buy a player that suits better to us. And I was also, of course, sportively, and there was interesting from Germany. So we made a deal, and I left the club, unfortunately, and went to Germany.
How long after you left Reading did you hang up the boots? How long did you keep playing?
I played another 2 years, and after that I stopped football.
And so what have you been up to since? I mean, how was leaving football behind? Obviously, you played since a very young age, since you were a teenager. What did you do after you left football?
I started a company, a publish company for sport magazines, and that's still what I'm doing. I make for the biggest cities in the Netherlands. I make a sort of presentation guide about the good possibilities for sport in a city.
Excellent. Do you miss it? Do you miss playing football? A lot of footballers talk about the void when they step away from the game.
Not much. No. Sometimes I travel to Germany, and I'm planning to travel to Motherwell later on this year. And when I'm there, I have my memories, also at Reading. And and then I enjoy it, and then just leave it and getting on with another life.
Do you keep in touch with anyone from your Reading days? Is there anyone you still speak to?
No, I had a few years with Peter, but last years not anymore. Sometimes I go on the internet and I look from names from that squad, and I'm interested in how they're doing, and I read about it. But that's the only thing.
And finally, just before we let you go, obviously Reading, since you left the club, they got promoted and eventually played in the Premier League in 2 different spells. I mean, what have you made of the club from afar? Do you still keep track of the results?
Sometimes, Well, I love to see that Reading was promoted. I was also proud, although I didn't achieve. But you feel proud when you see a club that you know to see to have success. Makes me proud, because I wouldn't have missed it. I think the fans are not. It was not the best time of Reading, and they haven't seen me as a good player, but I still appreciated my time there, and I'm also sort of proud that I had the chance to play for Reading.
Yeah, and as I said, you'll always be part of the team that won the very, very first game played at the Madejski Stadium. So there you go. There's always that. Exactly. Well, Elroy, thank you very, very much indeed for taking the time to join us on the podcast today. Where can people follow you on Twitter? Are you on Twitter?
Yes, just my name on Twitter, and on my Facebook is my name, and then I'm happy to answer questions.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. Best of luck with the publication, and might speak to you one day in the future. Take care.
Okay, see you. Bye bye.
Thanks, Elroy. Bye bye.
Get social with the boys.
Find them on Twitter
at the Tilehurst End
and facebook.com/the Tilehurst End.